Everyone loves to tell a story. Narrative writing is just storytelling. And so we're going to do an assignment that is writing a narrative paragraph. This slideshow and this video, I will be going through it with you, and there'll be times where you can pause and you'll do some activities, and it'll get us on our way to writing a narrative paragraph. I'll read this page and you can follow along as I read. The next time you're with a friend, pay attention to what you say to each other. Maybe you talk about what happened on your walk to school, about a movie you saw last night, about the time Grandpa won the karate championship. You and your friends tell all kinds of stories. You can capture your storytelling talents on paper by writing a narrative. The following pages will help you to write a narrative paragraph about a pleasant surprise. So the writing guidelines for this paragraph will be, the subject is a pleasant surprise that you experienced. Sometime in your life, you were surprised. We get surprised all the time. This one, I want it to be a pleasant surprise, so not so much a negative one. Maybe a birthday party, a present, a trip somewhere, some sort of surprise that you experienced. It's going to be in the form of a narrative paragraph. The purpose is to entertain. You're just telling a story, and the audience is your classmates. So, a narrative paragraph. Some of the most entertaining stories contain surprises. Perhaps your hamster escaped from his cage, but at school you opened up your backpack and discovered him chewing on your math assignment. Maybe you spiked your hair thinking it was Crazy Hair Day when it was actually Picture Day. These kind of surprises make entertaining narrative paragraphs. The following narrative paragraph tells about a nighttime surprise. For me, as I read this, it wouldn't have been so much a pleasant one, but you get the idea. It is a narrative paragraph that tells some surprise, and it's good in the respect that it's funny and it's not too bad. So, things that go bump. The topic sentence. One night last week, I was surprised by a thing that went bump. And that topic sentence is telling you, kind of getting you hooked in to what this is going to be about. So it's a good hook. I was just drifting off to sleep when I heard a footstep in my dark bedroom. Now, I like that sentence because it shows you, doesn't just tell. When you're writing, you want to always show, not tell. It doesn't just say, I was in my bed. Nope, this writer says, I was just drifting off to sleep when I heard, and you have some sensory stuff, I heard a footstep in my dark bedroom. So you have like feeling and all the senses are being awakened as you read this sentence. I gasped as I sat up. Somebody was in the room with me. My door was shut, but the window was open. That's how the intruder must have gotten in. Something crashed, and coins went rolling all over the floor. My bank. Sure, I had only $10 and some change, but it was my $10. Leaping up, I flipped on the light and took a swing at the burglar. With a yowl, Whiskers jumped over my fist and shot back out the window. Even as I was shaking, I began to laugh. Some cat burglar that was. My own cat. I like how Whiskers, if I can underline that, Whiskers is capitalized. So being capitalized, I know that's a proper noun. With a yowl, Whiskers jumped over my fist. All of a sudden, I know that wasn't just the common noun Whiskers, but it's the name of something, probably a cat, which I found out later was true. All right. So that is an example of a pleasant surprise, a narrative paragraph, and it has some good details, little humor, good hook, nice descriptive words. All right, let's keep going. Prewriting. You're going to select a topic. Surprising things happen every day. the writer of Things That Go Bump used a cluster to write down some of his surprising experiences. And I want you to do this also. You can get a scrap piece of paper and you put surprises in the middle, just like this. And then you go out, and you could do more than 5. You could do maybe just 3, 4. But this person did birthday party, grandpa's visit, prowling whiskers, winning Sox tickets, and an A+ paper. So those are some good surprises that this person had worked on, and eventually we know that they went with prowling whiskers. They wanted to tell that story. Okay? So right here it says create a cluster. In the middle of your paper, write the word surprises, then circle it. Create a cluster of 4 or 5 of your own surprising experiences. And then you're going to choose one to write about. So once you have done your pre-writing, you have your topic, you are going to move to the gathering details. To gather details, the writer of the sample paragraph on page 94 listed what happened first, then what happened next, and what surprise actually happened. Okay, so we can see he has a little chart here. I love charts. It's always a good way to stay organized. What happened first? Heard a sound in my room at night. All right, then what happened next? What I expected to happen next was to see a burglar. What surprise actually happened? Saw my cat Whiskers. Okay, so you can kind of organize it that way. And there's the surprising element with what you think is going to happen to what actually happens is the surprise. Okay, and in this case it was a good surprise. I wouldn't want that to actually be a intruder. So, writing, developing the first draft. A narrative paragraph has a topic sentence, and you're going to have that. You're going to have a body and a closing sentence. Each part serves a different purpose. The topic sentence introduces your story in an interesting way, and that would be your hook. You want a hook. The body uses sensory details to describe. You want good describing words. What happened, and your closing sentence kind of wraps it up. I always think of a bow. That's an awful bow. Not a great artist. But your closing sentence is the bow that wraps it all up, the concluding thought. So you want to have a good closing sentence. So, write your first draft. Write your surprising story in your natural voice. Imagine you are telling your story to a classmate. If you get stuck, look back at the chart you used to gather details. Okay. Revising. You always want to revise, improve your writing. Whenever you talk to an author, they always say, oh yeah, I did 25 revisions, 25 rewrites of this book before it was finally finished. It improves your writing to revise. Once your story is on paper, you can revise it so that your readers will feel like they experienced it right along with you. Here are a few tips. Show, don't tell. This is very important. Instead of telling readers, Nikita had a fit, show them by saying, Nikita waved her hands and hollered. Same thing, but you're showing instead of just telling that she had a fit. Check the order. Make sure the events happened in the correct order. Build up to a high point. You want to increase the excitement as you lead up to your conclusion. And check your words and sentences. Use strong nouns and verbs, and make sure everything flows smoothly. So check your ideas, your organization, your voice, your word choice, the fluency. Revise it, change it if you have to. Look for ways to make it even a better paragraph. Okay, editing. We always have to edit. You'll see sometimes in your writing I'll put a little note that says, please read over your work before submitting it. What I'm telling you there is edit it. Look it over. Make sure if you want to say they, you don't just write THE and forget the Y, because the is much different than they. And if you would read it over, you'd see that that was a mistake. Okay. After completing your revised draft, check your story for correct use of punctuation. Do you have end marks? Grammar? Is everything grammatically correct, the nouns, the verbs, everything like that. Spelling, if you are not sure about a word, check it. Use the following questions to make sure your narrative paragraph is free of errors. Have I checked for errors in capitalization and grammar? Have I checked my punctuation and spelling? Then proofread your story. Give it one final look.